Welcome back to eSIM Studios. This is Taylor Bell. Today is Monday, October 30th. I hope everybody had a good weekend. And I believe that by this time you should know what time it is.
Yeah. Woo.
I just need my space right now.
Fresh off the G5 jet, I'm on my way to a brand new kit.
All right, welcome back. So let's get into it. Today is the daily tech news. Now, not a lot going on. I actually had to was waiting a little while to see what news I could find, what leaks came out, and there's honestly not a lot. So we're gonna get into some news and then some little reviews and or go over something that I think everybody should be aware of. Um, and to let you know that our review and I'm taking a few more pictures. I did a video review in comparison between the Pixel 8 Pro and video comparison of the Pixel 8 Pro and the S23 Ultra, and I'm still currently working on my still photo review or comparison of the Pixel 8 Pro and the S23 Ultra, and we'll get into some Samsung news here shortly for all the Samsung fanboys out there, which includes me. So yes, I am a Samsung fanboy, and I am also part of hashtag Team Pixel. So I use both, and I think both devices are fabulous. So, hope everybody had a good weekend. And our case reviews continue for the Pixel 8 Pro series. Got a couple more for you on the way. I'll probably release tomorrow and the next day. But let's get into some of the tech news going out there. By the way, hope everybody's doing okay. This cold front came through in South Texas, and oh my god, I got like a head cold. My nasal congestion is super just it's horrible today. So I do have a bit of a head cold and just not feeling that great. So hope everybody out there is hanging in there. This year's been horrible, but let's put that to the side. The best way I can get rid of my head cold and not feeling bad is to talk about technology. So that's it's a much needed and much welcomed topic for me to discuss. So I don't have to sit and think about how bad my head hurts. So let's get into it. First thing I wanted to get into is okay. So the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 was just released or announced. And actually the first device that's going to be released with it is the Xiaomi 14, I guess is what they're going to call it. That was announced like literally the day after the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 was announced. And then the next big release after that, which I remember quoting myself, was saying the next big release will be the S24 series. Well, shame on me because that's not correct. The next biggest release with the new Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 is going to be the OnePlus 12. Now, that's expected to be released, I think they're announcing it next month, and it will be available to purchase in December. So we got the Xiaomi 14 announced last week, being available to purchase in November. And then you have the OnePlus 12, which will be announced in November, released in December. And then you have the Samsung Galaxy S24 series, which we'll get into shortly. That'll be announced and released in January. So with the OnePlus 12, let's get in here. Let's share this tab. Let me go back into StreamYard and make sure that I got the best viewing angle here. Okay. So here we go. OnePlus 12. Now, I will be getting this device. So if you're interested in, if you're possibly interested in purchasing this, I do believe there has been no official announcement. It should be in T-Mobile stores. However, T-Mobile always carries the watered down variant. They always carry the 8 gigabyte variant, 128 storage variant, which is real watered down, and we've gotten past the point of A flagship device should not have 8 gigs of RAM. Flagship device should not have 128 gigs of storage. Right now, for a flagship device in late 2023 going into 2024, you need at least 12 gigs of RAM, at least 256 gigs of storage. It looks like Samsung is headed in that direction. And it looks like OnePlus is not only headed in that direction, they're going to blow those baseline models out of the water, which we will get into shortly. However, it was benchmarked. The OnePlus 12 scores super high on AT&T benchmarks. They say there's potential room to get higher scores. Now, we got into the specs and everything with the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3, the CPU that's going to power this OnePlus 12. The OnePlus 12 will have the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3. And it says the base model is going to have 12 gigs of RAM. Or at least that's what the benchmark model had, 12 gigs of RAM. It's been rumored that the highest, the OnePlus 12 is going to have a few different storage variants. It's going to have a base of 12 gigs of RAM. Also going to have 16 gigs of RAM option. Also going to have 24 gig of RAM option. But it looks like the variant that was benchmarked on AT&T with a score of 2.11 million points. Wow. I've never seen anything over... All the high scores I've seen are under 2 million. In fact, well under 2 million. So this blew away everything else with 12 gigs of RAM, which is why the headline says has room for improvement, because this is the base model. When you get more RAM in these devices, the device has more room to allocate memory and push performance to different tasks and apps that are in the foreground compared to the background. Let's see. It will have a new X1 LTPO and achieve 2600 nits of peak brightness. Let's see. The OnePlus 12, 2.1 million points. Yes, that is a super high score. And here you can see the screenshot of just how it scored in the benchmark testing. The 24 gig model isn't definite, as this device was previously rumored to only feature 16 gigs of RAM, but it has the newest, latest, and greatest LDDR5 RAM. However, August rumors suggested the company would sell both 16 and 24 gigabyte RAM variants. Let's see what else we got. With the device appearing in benchmark, only sporting 12 gigs of RAM. Very interesting. I'm assuming this is going to be their base model, because they're not going to put if T-Mobile's going to carry it, I doubt they're going to have a 16 or 24 gig in T-Mobile. They typically always put the lesser RAM. I don't know why they do this for Android devices. Like with the Pixel 8 Pro, they only had the 128 gig in storage. They only had one or two color variants. It says the OnePlus 12 is going to arrive with a 6.7-inch 2K resolution AMOLED display. It's still going to have that circular camera array on the back. It'll have a 50 megapixel primary sensor, 50 megapixel ultra wide sensor, and a 64 megapixel 3x telephoto camera. Let's see. The OnePlus 12 was set to arrive with a new BOE display. BOE is another company that rivals Samsung when it comes to the AMOLED manufacturing. Let's see. 13% less energy when compared to the previous model. Could launch internationally in January. Yeah, and Chinese buyers will get it a month earlier in December. Okay. Now, let's move on to this one. Let's see what other specs we got on here that we can find on this new OnePlus 12. We are going to get this. I want to test this in-house and really see how this does. I do plan on getting this device. Not from T-Mobile. We're going to get it from either OnePlus or AliExpress. Let's see. It'll have a 5400 milliamp battery. Launch with Android 14. It's going to have a wired 100-watt charging, 50 watts wireless charging. Actually, it'll have a 6.82. Didn't the other article say a 6.7? 6.7 right here. Huh. Interesting. Well, we will have to wait and see which one it comes with. 6.7 inch would be like size of the Pixel 8 Pro, and a 6.8 inch screen, 6.82 inch screen, it would be like the S23 Ultra. Now it will have a flat display, thank God. Let's see. Here's another screenshot of the benchmark on an AT&T. Right, so not much else coming out as far as news-wise, minus the new AT&T benchmark scores, like the first article said, theoretically you probably could get higher scores if you benchmark this with the either 16 or 24 gig variant. Should theoretically score a little higher. You're not going to blow away your previous scores, but it should score a little higher. So those scores can get better, and we will definitely test that out when we get ours. And it will have a very bright display. Look, I'm not real happy. I don't really like that camera design. I actually think the OnePlus 10 and OnePlus 10T actually look better with the square camera design on the back, minus the looks like a stove, right? It looks like a stove you cook rice-a-roni on. Yeah. So anyways, we will keep an eye on that. If you're interested in the OnePlus 12, I am a old OnePlus fan, just haven't had the OnePlus 10. Was going to get the 10T. I ended up not getting it because it's basically the same device. But I was a huge OnePlus fan back in the day and had most of the phones from the 6 all the way to the 10, and then just stopped because operating system, they kind of got away from their roots, so to speak, which is why I like Nothing, because Nothing was picking up off of where OnePlus left off, being a startup brand, an enthusiast brand. But we'll check out and see what this one's got, because I think this one could make some noise in the Android world with the OnePlus 12. So stay tuned. We will get this device and test it out, but we'll definitely keep an eye on it, on any news that breaks and any stories that come out with it. You will get it here first. Now, let's move on, shall we? What do we got here? More OnePlus news. We just got into that. No worries. Let's see. Now, if you are a Samsung fan, and I'm a Samsung fanboy, we have good news for you. I checked my phone, not available, but it will be shortly. Android 14 has rolled out. One UI 6.0 has rolled out globally. It's released for all S23 devices, meaning S23, S23 Plus, and S23 Ultra. Now, it's not available for mine. These global rollouts, since it's such a big upgrade, operating system may take anywhere from I don't know, maybe a week, 10 days to hit your device. But if you do have an S23, check for an update every morning when you get up, what have you, and it should be there on your device here within the week. Let's get into it. So, One UI 6 has started rolling out to S23 owners. Android 14 update for its smartphone. While those for its smartphone for a while now. Oh, Samsung's been working on it, yes, for a long time, and it's finally here. I told y'all on the last update it'll probably be another couple weeks, and it's out, and now it is. There was a tweet saying the non-beta users of the S23 are also starting to receive One UI 6.0. That was in Europe, but it is confirmed. It is reached America as well. Now check this out. It's 3.1 gigabytes. Oh, crap. Just over 3 gigabytes. It's a huge update. Should change quite a bit once we get once we get Android 14 installed on ours. We'll go through it and see what has changed. Let's see. Yeah, so be on the lookout for that. Android 14 One UI 6.0. Now, more Samsung news. The Samsung Galaxy S24 has started production. They started manufacturing these devices amid early launch rumors. So, as we've noted on this channel, they are releasing the Samsung Galaxy S24 a month early this year, and for a number of different reasons. But they've started production on it. Again, we've gone over all of the new specs these devices are going to have. Samsung's raising the bar again, all across the board for the S24, S24 Plus, S24 Ultra. They're upgrading everything you would hope they're upgrading. You're going to get fantastic battery life. They're making bigger batteries across the board. They're making less power-hungry displays and better detail all across the board. They're going to have all LTPO 2.0 displays. All three models are going to go down to 1 hertz and up to 120. You're going to have the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3. You're going to have the brand new UFS storage in it, not just the Plus and Ultra models this year. You're going to have flat display on the Ultra. And it's going to be just another smash hit for Samsung. Cannot wait to get the S24 Ultra as well. Now, here is another upgrade that has been confirmed. Samsung is going to put higher charging speeds in their devices, which is a long time coming. This looks like, what are we jumping up to? It may jump to 65 watts charging. Yes. Up from current 45. This is something that I need Google to get on and put faster charging in their Pixel devices. There is no reason why any smartphone today should have anything less than 65 watts charging. I need my phone to charge from 0 to 100 in about 30 minutes. There is no excuse for a phone, for a manufacturer to produce a phone that takes an hour to charge. That is inexcusable in my eyes. Now, Samsung might be a little weary from their Note 7 debacle blowing up, but look, that's so far away now. The technology is way better. You have phones now that can charge from 0 to 100 in like 17 minutes, I think. 17 minutes, 19 minutes, something like that. I don't need it to charge that fast, but I need it somewhere around 30 minutes. Samsung, I bet, will be able to get your device from 0 to 100 with 65 watt charging. If this is true, should be able to get your device charged, I bet, in like, I don't know, I think OnePlus got theirs. No, we'll see. Look, OnePlus has 2 different batteries in their phones. So they chopped their battery in half, which allows it to charge faster as well. I bet, look, if you can get your phone to charge from 0 to 100 in like 40 minutes, 45 minutes, I think that would be adequate. It's a fairly big jump from 45 to 65. Normally they only jump like 8 to 10 watts, and that's what, 20. So let's see. Is there a Tipster, supplier of Sam's smartphone chargers, transformers, recently added 65 watts and 140 watt chargers to its portfolio. Details are missing, so there's no telling if the new chargers are for Galaxy devices. Let's see. Oh, interesting. So a supplier for chargers, somebody's coming out and saying, we've gotten a big order to put 65 watt chargers for transformers. Oh, very interesting. So a supplier has come out and said that for transformers that supply these for Samsung are coming out and saying that there should be bigger wattage, as you can tell here. This is what's inside the smartphone. So you have 15 watts, 25 watts, a 45 watt transformer, a 65 watt transformer, and 100. Now there's no way they would go to 140. At this time, when Chinese firms are pushing the limits to over 200 watts, Lord have mercy. Yeah, 65 would still feel slow in front of some of these other ones, but let's hope Samsung at least jumps in on this 65 watt because they're right here at 45. They can put these on their motherboards inside these devices, or at least inside the S23 Ultra. That would be big time. So let's hope that that is a realistic possibility here. Now, let's get into, let's see. Okay, so for those of you that have a Chromebook or are looking into getting a Chromebook, there's some news that's come out in the last, I want to say in the last, maybe in the last, damn it, I got something going on, so I'll have to make this quick. All right, so check this out. There's a new term coming out called Chromebook Plus. If you're a Chromebook user or you're interested in getting a Chromebook user, now is the time to do it. Now is the time to do it because in the past, all these cheap Chromebooks that your child or that students use in these schools are nothing but crap. They don't last but a week or two, or maybe even a day. The first day you use it, and after that, the performance drops off. So Google is doing this new certification where, like, they're calling it a Chromebook Plus. Chromebook Plus does not involve your child's Chromebook that they get from school. Chromebook Plus is going to be a minimum set of standards that a Chromebook has to have before it can be considered Chromebook Plus. Chromebook Plus is your Chromebook on steroids. Basically, it has to have a certain amount of RAM, certain amount of memory, certain amount of display, before it can be classified as a Chromebook, quote unquote, Plus. And if you're in the market for one, don't buy anything less. It has to be a Chromebook Plus. What we have here is Chromebook Plus. Now, is this the right one? So, what is Chromebook Plus? Let's find out. I have a Chromebook here that is technically not a Chromebook Plus, but it has all the specs, minimum specifications that meet a Chromebook Plus. Meaning this Chromebook is, I think, a year and a half old, but it does meet all the minimum requirements. It just came out before they came up. Mine was released before they came with this idea of let's have a Chromebook Plus where it's only the top specs get qualified as it. Mine does qualify. Now, Chromebook Plus. Let's get into what that is. What is a Chromebook Plus? We're not talking about this Lenovo. We are talking about hardware. So a Chromebook Plus is basically going to have at least 8 gigabytes of RAM. Mine has 8 gigabytes, but I also added virtual RAM in the settings. I added another 4 gigabytes of virtual RAM. So I have 12 gigabytes of RAM in my Samsung Galaxy Chromebook 2. So the minimum amount of RAM these new Chromebook Pluses are going to have to ship with are 8 gigs of RAM. They're going to have at least 128 gigabytes of storage. Mine's got 128 gigs of storage, and a guarantee of either. And they're also going to have to require at least an Intel Core processor or an AMD Ryzen processor. Mine has an Intel Core i3 processor. Let's see. On top of the upgraded internals, the Chromebook Plus lineup must also hit certain resolution specifications. That means that a Chromebook Plus has to ship with either a 14-inch or a 15-inch full HD display, full HD 1080p IPS display or AMOLED display, and a 1080p webcam or better. Those are the basic guidelines to have a considered Chromebook Plus. Now, I know what you're wondering. Well, it's just another way for them to mark the price up. True, and maybe another way. Maybe another way for them to, a lot of things. But trust me, you don't want anything less than what they put up on there as a Chromebook Plus. It's imperative when I was searching for one, if that's the minimum requirements I would be satisfied with. Mine's got AMOLED or OLED. Mine has all of those: Intel Core i3, 12 gigs of RAM, 120 gigs storage. So it makes a difference. If you're not a Chromebook user or not used to using a Chromebook, check this out. Closest thing I can compare it to is like if you have a Windows computer. It's just like if you use your Windows computer with your Chrome tab all the time, because that's what it is. It's a Chromebook. It runs Chrome tabs, so you have all your tabs across the top. It runs Chrome apps. It also runs Android apps. So you get the Android app store in there. It opens you up to millions of different applications. It's a very let me show y'all. It's a very now they have this in a bright red, but I chose the silver slate. So this is mine. This is my Samsung Chromebook right there. I know the letters are backwards, but my display is flip-flop. But very nice, very thin. It doesn't weigh much at all. USB-C input right there. That's got headphone jack, volume up and down. You can also put a micro SD card in there. And on the other side, we got USB Type-C right here, a charging port, and where you can plug in a external memory as well, and then you get your power button here. Now check this out. Here is the AMOLED display, very bright, vibrant AMOLED. Then it flips into a tablet as well. Very nice, comes in handy. Very nice, full keyboard. Just a really nice device. Now, that's all that the Chromebook Plus includes. If you're wondering, it's 8 gigs of RAM, an Intel Core or AMD Ryzen processor, and it has to have a 1080p display and or webcam with 128. Yeah, just say 8 gigs of RAM, 128 gigs of storage, Core Intel processor, AMD Ryzen, 1080p. Basically, basic specs for a Chromebook Plus. Now, I'm going to hold on to this Chromebook probably for another year, but I wanted to get into this. Samsung is getting ready to release, boom, a new Chromebook with the Chromebook Plus logo on it. So I don't know how much different it's going to be than the one that I just showed you. This is the one that I have right now. It looks basic. I mean, of course they don't have photos of the new one, but it's probably going to look similar. It's just going to say Chromebook Plus on it. They said one is in the works. New Samsung Chromebook Plus. I don't believe they have any. Let's see. It's being reported that the device will use the same processor as the Lenovo Chromebook Slim 3i, a 12th gen Intel Core i3. I think mine's a 10th gen Core i3. Interesting. So it looks like it's going to be basically the same thing, but just a newer processor. I may just keep mine because the also good thing about Chromebooks is they're updated for like 8 years. So technically, you don't have to upgrade like once every 8 years whenever you're done. And that's another reason why you need to get one with good specs, because you're going to want to hold on to it for a while, because they update these forever. Let's see. Yeah, those are the basic specs that I had gone over. This new one will have an OLED screen and an S Pen as well. That's nice. Cool. So be on the lookout for that. Samsung Galaxy Chromebook Plus. Now, that'll do it for us today. I didn't have a whole lot on the table for us, but I did want to record something and put some news out there. We just hit the 30-minute mark. That's right in the sweet spot of where we want these episodes to run. So I will be on the lookout to see what else I can find for y'all for on tomorrow's daily tech news. But I do appreciate the time, and thank you very much for joining us. And if you have any questions, if you want me to hit on anything or review anything or explain anything, please let me know in the comments. I always appreciate your viewership, and hit me up in the comments. I try to answer every single comment. So thank you very much for viewing, and we'll get out of here, and I will see y'all very soon. Peace out.